Child marriage and child betrothal customs occur in various times and places, whereby children are given in matrimony before marriageable age. Today, such customs are still fairly widespread in parts of Africa, Asia, and South America. Unfortunately, in most cases, only one marriage partner is a child, usually the female. Due to the importance placed upon female virginity, the inability of women to work for money, and also to women's shorter reproductive life period relative to men's. An increase in the advocacy of human rights, whether as women's rights or as children's rights, has caused traditions of child marriage to decrease in many areas, but the problem is far from solved.
What seems to be happening still in this country is very sad, because so many years after independence, we as a country should have moved miles away from those practices. But unfortunately, there are very many pockets where this is being practiced. It is a disservice to the young child, to the young girl child, because first of all, you infringe on her rights, and whether or not she's going to be forced into early marriage.
Despite many poor countries enacting marriageable age laws to limit marriage to a minimum age of 16 to 18 years, depending on jurisdiction, traditional marriages of girls of younger ages are widespread because of poverty, religion, tradition, and conflict.
As for the forced marriages or arranged marriages, early marriages particularly, again, this is the service to the young girl, because she's denied the opportunity to mature, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to get education, and opportunity for self-development.
In Mali, a poverty-stricken and predominantly Muslim country, the female-to-male ratio of marriage before age 18 is 72 to 1. In Kenya, the same ratio is 21 to 1. Kenya is a multi-ethnic and multiracial country. As a nation, we may talk of a national culture, one that unites us as one nation, but in reality, however, the multi-ethnic nature of the country means that we have literally as many cultures as we have ethnic groups. But have the Western education, urbanization, and developments in communication made different ethnic cultures less distinct?
We are a Kenyan community, and by sort of intermarrying, we are actually opening up and bringing cohesion into our society.
However, there are still remnants of traditions passed, among them early marriages like mentioned earlier, and also the tradition of the young not getting a voice to speak up and state what they would want for themselves when making life-changing decisions without fear of being accused of being disrespectful. The institution of marriage is highly valued by all the traditional cultures in Kenya. It is highly valued because marriage is the foundation on which families are built. On its part, the family constitutes the basic social group that operates most widely and most intensely in the activities of everyday life. All kinship relationships ultimately derive their legitimacy from the family. The rights and the duties of the individual economic, religious, and political life either exclusively or predominantly work through channels of kinship.
I remember in 1985-86 when I used to work with KIE, and one time we were sort of in a workshop, and that's when the late Wambui Otieno case was on. That's what the whole country was being treated on. And I remember one time making an observation that just following what was happening, that if my daughter or my child came to me, particularly a girl, and said that I want to get married to somebody from Luo land, the farthest we can do is just advise that this is how things happen in this community, and also tell them, try to understand that community so that you know what we are getting into.
Child marriage is a violation of human rights and is prohibited by a number of international conventions and other instruments. Nonetheless, it is estimated that in the next 10 years, more than 100 million girls are likely to be married before the age of 18. Early marriages expose children to exploitation and exposure to STDs and even HIV. Recent health and demographic surveys indicate that there is an increase in the HIV prevalence in teenagers. Unfortunately, on female teenagers, the increase in prevalence is attributed to early marriages and lack of sufficient protection for orphaned and vulnerable children. What can we as a society and what can the government do to help curb this social vice?
The practice should not be encouraged, and so what I would like to say is that the government should do more than just ban it. The government should get should mobilize the communities, and it can be done if the government to some extent does not seem to be turning a blind eye on what is happening.
As we live life, it is important that we understand that there are many important factors that determine a happy family and a more united society. This week on Family Matters, we look at the issue of decision making or liberty of choice, or if you like, as it is put by many, the freedom of expression. Today on Family Matters, our client is one who was forced into early marriage by her guardian. What followed later was a life of oppression and violence. A life so painful, one would never imagine. Hello and welcome to Family Matters, a program designed to look into and solve problems affecting families. I am your host, Timothy Omondi.
Mimi ni mtoto ambaye nimezaliwa nje ya ndoa. Mamangu na babangu hawako pamoja. Alafu baba ako hapa Nairobi. Ni daktari Kenyatta. Mama ni jobless yako tu nyumbani. Sasa ikahappen ni kwamba nikafanya standard 2000 ambapo nilipita nikajoin secondary Moi Girls High School Vokoli Kakamega. Before kwanza ni join nikapelekwa kwetu. Sasa maana kumaanisha mtoto anapelekwa kwao kwa babake, yani akaanza kunisomesha. Lakini it happens that when I reached in form 3 nika drop out of the school. I got married ambapo nilikaa kwa kitu kama 2 years. Maisha yakakuwa ngumu sana kabisa, mateso nini. Bwana si mwaminifu, maisha yakakuwa ngumu sana. Nikaamua kutoka. Nikachoka na hiyo maisha, nikaamua kutoka. Sasa vile nilitoka, si nilikuwa naishi na nyanyangu nyumbani sasa. Nilikuwa naishi na nyanya. Nikaenda kwa nyanyangu, nikamwambia, "Shosho mimi huko sioni nikirudi huko. Hiyo maisha mimi siwezi ishi. Nimechoka na siwezi tena." Sasa shosho Kenya kaniambia, "Either urudi kwako ama kwa hii bomo usionekane. Once you've gone, huwezi rudi tena hapa." Hata babaka amesema usiwahi rudi hapa tena. Nikaona maisha ni ngumu, sasa naenda nyumbani wananifukuza. Haya, kwangu nako kumekuwa ni kizungumkuti, nitafanya nini? Sasa my mom by that time was working in Naivasha. Nikaenda nikamtafuta. Vile nimtafuta akaniambia, "Enda kwa babako, fanye nini? Muombe msamaha, akusamehe, hata urudi shule malize form 4." Which I did. Nilienda kwa babangu alinifukuza hata karibu anitie maskari. Kutoka 2006 up to now, nimeomba babangu msamaha several times, lakini hajai kuwa na hiyo ya kunisamea. Mpaka inaniumiza roho sana yani.
Hata juzi nimekuja kutoka nyumbani.
My intention ya kuja Nairobi haikuwa ati kitu kingine. Nilikuwa nakuja kumuona yeye. Lakini vile nilikuja hapo, alinifukuza kutaka kuniona. Nikamwambia, "Kenye kimenileta hapa ni msamaha tu. Wewe ndio nimekuja kuomba msamaha. Na najua ni babangu na mimi mtoto wako. Nilikosa lakini sikupenda kwangu.
Nisamehe." Alikataa kabisa.
You see, sometimes we ask for forgiveness because we believe we have wronged someone. But what is she being forgiven for? that's how she should start addressing her case. I'm asking for forgiveness. Why am I asking for this forgiveness? Then if she resolves the reason as to why she's asking for forgiveness, and it's not forthcoming, if she had done something wrong, she shouldn't give up, but she should forgive herself too. Because I think in this case, she's taking all the guilt of things that she had no control. Now try and nurture a new relationship. That happened. Unfortunately, we cannot make amends. However, we can move forward. I want to nurture a relationship with my father. Not based on the things I did, but I want you in my life. Yeah.
Turudi tena pale nyuma. Then wakati mama aliolewa, kama ulizaliwa wewe ni wa baba mwingine, sio? Si uliishi na yeye. Then yule mwenye asili biological father.
Sasa is the one mwenye sasa nilipelekwa kwake.
Na ambapo hata before that sikuwa namjua, hata sikuwa nimeijua. Because in real sense me I knew to know that I used to know that grandpa ndio babangu. Na grandma ndio mamangu. Lakini sasa vile kulikuja kwamba nyanya amekufa, ndio sasa hiyo siri yote kafichuka. Huyu mama amekufa, huyu mtoto ataenda wapi? Sasa mimi nachangaa naongea mtoto yupi, kumbe ni mimi.
As soon as the kid starts asking questions, that's about 3-4, the why questions, the why not, I think you should start introducing slowly and letting the kid know where the birth parents are. If we let it go on, the harder it is, because the belief system of the kid is slowly becoming wider and wider. So we wanted to do it at an early age before they get used to that thought line. And say it with love and concern.
Your mother anapenda biological father yule?
With my father.
Your father biological.
Hawako pamoja.
Sema mlikaa 2 years. Alikwambia amekuwa ama ulikuwa come stay?
Mimi nilisikia tu ati huyu ni amekupenda, amekuja kukuoa, anataka uende ukue bibi yake. Even at first nilisisi nikasema siwezi fanya kitu kama hiyo.
Ulazimishwa kuoa.
Yeah.
Yaani katika ndoa iliendaje?
Hakukuwa na ile amani yenye unasemanga ati mtu anakuwa na raha katika ndoa yako. Kitu ya kwanza, he was unfaithful. Kitu ya pili, not caring. Kitu ya tatu, ni mlevi. Akienda kilabu, kesho akikuja anakuja na demu mwingine. Kesho kuta anakuja na mwingine. In the same house. Then when you complain, you are being beaten up. Unachapwa mpaka mwenyewe unakosa kujitambua.
Sasa anakuwa na huo mwanamke.
Si anakuja kwa nyumba yake?
Na ukiwa
in that house.
Hiyo dalili ilianza kama
some months. Yeah, kama 8 months hivi ya. Sasa kuzaa sasa mtoto ndio sasa maisha ndio sasa ikakuwa ngumu sana. Kwa nakumbuka siku moja alinichapa, nilimaliza wiki moja kama sioni. Na ni ndugu zake ndio walinibeba kanipeleka Kenyatta kunitibu. Ananichapa ananiacha na anaenda. Sasa ndio akaendanga 3 good months. Simuoni, sijui penyako, ukipiga simu ni mteja hapatikani na lando nataka nyumba 3 months zijalipwa.
For somebody who has been constantly rejected in their life and then got to an abusive relationship, chances are their past experience make them predict their future to be as their past. The advice that I would give to such a person is to acknowledge that the past happened and that it's not necessarily my present.
Ukufikiria kwenda?
Vile yani nilifika tu mahali na ikanichoka toka. Okay, mimi sasa nimejaribu kwenda kwa wachungaji kama wewe. Sasa you know